Okay, good afternoon. Today is the 27th of September 2011. And my name is Larry Harris, and I am a volunteer at the Palm Springs Air Museum here in California. And part of our mission is to record and preserve the history of our country's military conflicts, especially World War II. And as part of the Veterans History Project of the Library of Congress in Washington, we conduct interviews of veterans and civilians who participated in these events. And today we have the privilege and the honor of interviewing Miss Lynne Carter, well known back several years ago in stage, screen, but particularly in the subject we're going to be talking about today, which is what was the organization that you were so active in, that you participated so heavily in? The Stage Door Canteen, right?
Right.
Right. And so that's basically what we're going to be talking about, is your participation in the Stage Door and how it was related to the service in the war way back in the 40s. Okay?
Yeah.
First of all, your name is Lynne Carter, and you were born where, Lynn?
In New York City,
New York City, the Big Apple.
the Big Apple.
What do you remember most about your childhood living in New York?
What do I remember most about living in New York? Is that what you wanted to know?
Yes, just what do you whereabouts in New York did you live? Were you
Manhattan,
in Manhattan?
yes.
And what basically as a child, then you went to elementary school in New York, high
Yes.
school.
Yes.
Do you remember the elementary school where it was? That name of it?
No, I don't.
Yeah. Okay. What about high school? Were you active in dramatics and so forth in high school?
Yes, I was.
Did
Performing Arts.
What?
City Performing Arts, or what was the name of this?
you were active in performing arts
Yes.
in high school?
Yes.
Did you do any high school plays? Any leads?
Yes,
or
I
any?
did.
Can you remember any of the shows?
What?
Can you remember any of the shows
Any of the shows?
that you participated or acted or danced or whatever, as far as being a participant?
Oh. No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I was in from the beginning to the end.
Tell them about your dancing with the troupe.
What?
You were dancing, that's how it started with the International Casino. You want to tell them how you got
No,
started?
that's not when I started.
Okay, keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
What? How
That
did you?
was when that was, no, I was well
Mm-hmm.
into
How old were you when you started doing drama and dancing and so forth?
how old was I?
Mm-hmm. Were you in high school, junior high?
Oh, no, I was
In college? Did you go to college?
of course I went to college.
Mm-hmm. Which college? Did you remember?
Yes, I remember.
Good.
I went to, oh God,
Miami.
not,
Miami.
no, that was,
Miami of Ohio or Florida?
Florida.
Oh.
She was there in the theater
Mm-hmm.
school. But she also, it was the one that you would talk about all the time, Lynn, was the Theodore Irvine School of Acting, correct?
well, it was one of them, Daddy.
Mm-hmm.
It was the high school.
Mm. And you were you active in high school in
Yes.
drama?
Yes, I was.
Mm-hmm. That's how you got your start.
I don't know. I didn't get my start there.
Where did you get it? What drove you to become an actress and a singer and a dancer?
You were dancing, sweetheart. You were doing dancing with your mother, and you were in that troupe. She was actually dancing professionally before she was a proper working papers for her ages. Remember that, Lynn?
Yes.
Remember the story?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I was dancing for Ned Wayburn.
There we go.
No.
I was dancing for Ned Wayburn.
What do you feel was your best type of performance? Dancing, acting, singing?
Well, I think, what did you ask me?
Oh, what would you say your best kinds of performances were? In acting, in singing, in dancing, or all of them?
All of them.
All of them. Good. Do you happen to remember the first play of any significance that you did? Whether it be movie second in the supporting or a lead or anything like that?
Well, yes,
Can you tell me about it?
not really.
Well, no, anything goes, sweetheart, with Ethel Merman.
Who did you perform when you started to
Anything goes.
become active?
Anything goes
Anything goes? Was that on Broadway or off Broadway?
on Broadway and then off Broadway.
Mm-hmm. And was mostly most of your performing on stage, or did you do some movies?
Mostly on stage.
Mostly on stage, and mostly on Broadway.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Can you remember any of the shows you danced and sang in and on Broadway?
Yes. That was Broadway and Broadway.
Anything goes, Panama Hattie.
Yes.
What was the one you did with Uda Hagen
With Uda Hagen was
and Jose Ferrer?
Jose Ferrer.
How soon in
With
your
Anthony, with Hopkins, Arthur Hopkins, the playwright,
Yes.
and she also did play with George Abbott, famous one.
Yes.
Then you did A Young Man's Fancy with Bill, after the war.
Yes. After the war, I was
And
in
Native Son.
A Young Man's Fancy.
Was most of your work before the war, or did it continue right through into later years?
Mostly before the war.
Mm-hmm. That was on acting. What about movies? Did you participate in or star in any?
No, I did mostly
Mostly
Acting.
stage acting and
yes.
singing?
Well, you made two movies, Port of New York with Yul Brynner and Experiment in Alcatraz with John
Yes.
Howard.
Yes.
And during the war, when did you get married? Before the war?
Gee. When did I get married?
Mm-hmm. That was
Just as the war was starting, 1942.
in the first, just before. What service was your husband in?
Special service.
Special service?
Mm-hmm.
Did he do anything when he was in special services as far as entertainment goes that you know
No, I don't think so.
of? Uh-huh. When he came back then from the wars, I see you have a beautiful picture of that. But that was after the war was over.
Yes.
And then did you pick up your career with him, or how did you go from there?
I was working. He wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Did he go back into entertainment when he got out of?
He tried.
He tried.
Then you were in Young Man's Fancy.
Yeah.
They was right
Yes.
after that,
But-
1940.
I was in A Young Man's Fancy.
Mm-hmm. Now let's slide back to the beginning of the war. From what I understand, that you were very active in the stage door Canteen in New York City.
Yes, I was.
Did you help organize or form that?
Yes.
That was way back in the probably 41 or 42, I would imagine.
It was, yes.
Mm-hmm. What did you do did you also then perform at the Stage Door Canteen in New York
Uh,
yourself?
no.
thought you said you danced with a lot of the servicemen.
Oh, yes, we all danced,
You all danced. That was a must.
yes.
Because I know I went to a
Huh?
stage, I myself, when I was in the service, went to stage door canteens whenever I had a
Yes.
chance.
You might have met.
To meet, to beat,
We
huh?
probably
You might have
did.
met when you were there.
We probably did.
Who knows? Yeah, it was 44, I was there on Christmas Eve, we came in, and I went to the stage door canteen and met some delightful young ladies.
Yes.
Do you remember B. Lilly, performer,
Oh, yes.
Beatrice Lilly? She was there that night on Christmas Eve, Beatrice Lilly, and did her act when she swung her beads around
Yes.
in a circle like a hula hoop. Did you, how often did you go into the, or help or aid the stage door canteen? Every week, every other day, every month?
Oh, no, well, every month.
Every-
No,
Every week?
month,
Every day or every week?
every day,
Every
That's what-
day,
that's what I
wow.
thought.
yes, every night or every day,
Did you dance with a lot of servicemen?
yes,
I'll bet.
yes, I
That was,
did,
that was the big routine in those days.
yes.
Now, what part did you play in organizing that stage door canteen?
I did, I organized dancing,
The dancing.
yes,
Mm-hmm. The dancing in this canteen and the routine that the girls went through,
yes,
when you say dancing.
yes.
And how long did you do that? All during the war?
No, because the war was ending
Uh-huh.
when I was still dancing.
Oh, yes. And then you stayed on after him for a while. Anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. After your stint with the stage door canteen was done, what did you then do? Did you stay in entertainment and perform?
Yes.
Can you remember any of the things that you did?
The big one was Young Man's Fancy.
Pardon?
Young Man's Fancy.
Young Man's Fancy.
It ran on with Bill. They were camp counselors,
Oh,
and we've got the pictures though. But they were on for they ran almost 350
yes,
performances.
that was a long one.
Almost a year, wasn't it, Lynn?
Yes.
Remember any other of the shows you did after the war, after the stage door canteen?
Well, I did stage door canteen, and I think that's about all I did on Broadway.
You did some
Mhm.
summer stock. You did a lot of summer stock.
Yes, I did a lot of summer stock.
Mm-hmm. Where, do you remember any of the shows or anywhere you performed?
I performed on Broadway
Mm-hmm. And summer stock.
And a summer stock, Iverton, Connecticut.
and summer stock.
Tell them about Iverton, Connecticut, and the other one you talked about all the time was Cape May.
Cape May, yes. I was, that's
Did
when
you-
I met Bill.
Did you ever go to Hollywood and perform in films?
Yes,
When was that?
that was after,
Young Man's Fancy. After Young Man's Fancy.
after Young Man's Fancy.
After the stage work, you went to Hollywood. What drew you out there? An offer of a part, or did you just go?
Yes, an offer of a part.
And what was the show? Do you remember? The
Oh, I
movie?
did the whole season.
All season.
Yes, the whole season.
I'm confused. That was the summer stock that she did the whole season.
Oh, I
Okay,
see.
okay, I was confused. But Bill was signed, you got to Hollywood because Bill signed a contract with Howard Hughes. Tell him that story.
What?
That's what brought you from Broadway to Hollywood, was Bill.
Yes,
Mm-hmm. He dangled a movie in front of you.
Yes.
You remember what the movie was?
Not
Oh,
really.
Port
yeah.
of New York, sweetheart.
What?
Port of New York.
Port of New York.
The old
Do you know, how much, did you do other films in Hollywood then?
Yes.
You remember any of those?
No, I don't.
Experiment in Alcatraz.
Pardon?
What?
She did 2 movies. Experiment in Alcatraz was,
Mm-hmm.
that's the one you made with John Howard and King's
Did
Yes.
and Gene Dixon.
Yes, I also did, what was it, Danny?
Port of New York with Yul Brynner, Richard Rober, and
Did you have any children?
No.
No. They usually keep you at home, so I'm sure.
you adopted a child, Whitney, sweetheart,
Yes, I adopted
Oh,
my daughter.
in
I see.
1948,
And
after Young Man's
where
Man.
is she now?
She's living in New York.
In New York?
Yes.
Is she active in theater or
No.
entertainment?
No.
What have you been doing since you came out to Hollywood or California?
Nothing.
Nothing. I thought
I mean, not anything
in entertainment
in
per se.
entertainment
Yeah.
that I can remember.
As I understand, you are an original organizer of Stage Door Canteen organization and its
Yes,
function.
yes.
Yeah.
And you also, after Hollywood, she was a London production. She put on some London production
Mm-hmm.
and went to Europe. You were in Europe, remember, Lynn?
Yes.
Hmm. How long did you do that?
I did that for several years.
Mm-hmm. In Europe.
No, that was back in New York.
And London,
What?
London, England.
Yes, London, England.
You did some work in London, in the West Side,
The West End.
West End.
Yeah, that's when
Yeah. So when did you consider, did you ever retire, or have you always been active in it?
No, I never retired.
this is it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got in trouble many times forgetting that, using the past tense when I'm supposed to use the present tense.
Were you ever a member of Thalians?
Ever remember what?
The Thalian Club
The
in Hollywood?
Thalians?
Yeah, in Hollywood.
No.
Oh, okay, I was just wondering, because I had a couple of friends that were president.
No, I was
past
never a member
presidents.
of the Thalians.
Yeah.
You were on a couple national tours though in the late '80s with Maureen O'Sullivan, remember?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes,
Good.
I was, Daddy.
Can you remember any of the, what we might say, big names or bigger names that you worked with?
She's got some.
Bigger names,
Yeah. Jose Ferrer.
Jose Ferrer, yes, I worked with him.
Mm-hmm.
And, who was the other one I worked with quite frequently?
Fagan, Yul Brynner.
Huh?
Yul Brynner.
Yes, Yul Brynner, I worked with Yul Brynner quite frequently.
You worked with 2 famous black actors, Paul Robeson
Yes,
and Canada Lee.
Canada Lee, yes.
What did you consider your strong point, singing, dancing, or acting?
By the way, she was an ingenue
Oh.
to Ethel Barrymore
Oh, yes.
in one of the summer stock.
Mhm.
Correct, Lynn?
Yes,
What would you consider your strongest point as far as being an entertainer back when you were in New York?
well, I was still going back and forth.
Mm-hmm. Back and forth between singing, dancing, you mean, or what?
No, well, that too. Yeah, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth,
Mm-hmm.
singing and dancing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was doing.
Ever dance with Gene Kelly?
No.
Yeah, he was a little later.
Well,
Well,
actually,
anyway, I didn't have to
no,
dance.
tell him the story about how he met his first wife, Betsy.
How he met his first wife?
Betsy Blair, when you,
Yes, I met him, when I met
the
Betsy Blair,
Mm-hmm.
National Casino, right?
yes, at the National Casino.
I see.
And that's when I met Betsy.
And she was the wife of Gene Kelly, did you say?
She was the wife of Gene Kelly,
Kelly.
yes, but not when I met her.
Mm-hmm.
When I met her, she was simply Betsy Blair,
Mm-hmm.
but she wasn't married to him yet at that point.
I don't know if you were aware, she was the best supporting actress
Oh, yeah.
in Marty
Yeah.
with Ernest Borgnine.
When did you move to,
What?
when did you move to Palm Springs?
Oh, that was much later.
Oh.
That was, well, that was later,
Mm-hmm. So you've lived here several years?
yes.
Mhm.
The 4 years, she was invited by the Film Noir Foundation at Hollywood
Yes,
to tell them about the movie she made, reported in New York with
Mhm.
Neil Brenner. And that's where her casting director at General Hospital,
Oh, yeah.
Marvin Page, invited her here to Palm Springs.
Oh, yeah.
Is that okay to say? I mean, I don't know, I'm telling you too much, but anyway,
Yeah. Well, you've had an interesting life
yes, I have.
and a lot of fun, I am sure.
Yes, I have.
Yeah. Anything that you would say now that you regretted that you did, and anything that you were proud of that you had done?
Well, I don't know what you mean.
Well, and is there anything in your life that you turned down a job maybe that would have made you a superstar or something
Oh.
like this? Or didn't you have those opportunities?
now tell them about the
Yeah. Or,
McGuire,
yeah.
where we were gonna.
About what, Daddy?
What's her name, McGuire?
Dorothy
Dorothy
McGuire?
McGuire, right. And remember you were both competing for Candida, Canada, what was it called? Candida or
Canada.
Hmm.
And they
So
were,
that one you regretted or were happy that you did?
Oh, I regretted that. I wanted to do it, but I didn't get it.
Oh, well, that's showbiz.
Yeah.
but tell them how you got the Panama Hattie kid. She was on the street in New York. That's a great story.
Oh, yes.
Tell them, do you remember the story, Lynn, when you're outside the stage, where the actress wanted to leave the play? It was a long-term play.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah. I don't remember that.
and you
Daddy.
took over.
I don't really remember that.
I see, okay.
Yeah, I thought maybe then you took over, as the old stories go, took over and became a star
No,
from a reluctant actress.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
She
I
actually cast her.
Oh.
She saw her on the stage, she looked like, she said, "Are you an actress?" We told that story many times. "You're an actress?" And then she went in and she got auditioned and she got the part.
I got the part.
Mm-hmm.
They asked me if I was an actress, and I said yes, and I got the part.
Right off the street.
Oh, that's,
And tell them about the Warner Brothers Vita films. You always talk about that too. That's very interesting here.
What about the Warner Brothers?
How many you made? You used to go to Brooklyn and make all those short films?
Oh, I made those short films. Well, I did that for over 2 years.
short films.
Yes.
Yeah, they used to have the short films that would go in. It was very big in that era, in the 30s and
yeah.
40s and 50s.
Mm-hmm.
They shipped the short films.
Yes, I made those.
You do a lot of
for-
dancing,
For
Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers Vitaphone.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in those for 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
She also, I don't know, this is not so tight, but she was actually lived in Paris, and she was a dual citizen who represented Paris or France and the
Hmm.
United States with NATO.
Mm.
She went to several NATO meetings later on. I don't know, that's getting off the
Yeah.
course a little bit, but
Hmm.
she has some great stories to tell about that. But-
Well, another time in another place, maybe, we can do this.
Yes.
Yeah, it caught you by surprise, I think, a bit with all these questions. And they can become confusing. I know they are with me. But,
Yeah, it was confusing because
yeah.
there
Yeah.
I was and they kept asking me questions and I kept answering them.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I answered one, I got another one. So that I didn't know where I was.
Well, that happens. That happens.
Yeah, especially when I am going into one.
Lynn, you might tell them about
one.
your TV program in New York with Bill, Sundays with Lynn.
Sundays with Lynne, yes.
Mhm.
That was what I did, Sundays with Lynne.
Mm-hmm.
And that came in handy. It was good.
But imagine, of all things, you're probably, or maybe not, but maybe most proud of the work you did with the Stage Door Canteen to help organize it and get it operating, or,
Well, I don't know if that was oh God. That was actually that was important in my life.
mm-hmm,
I don't know that it was,
mm-hmm.
but it certainly didn't do me any harm.
No, in showbiz, nothing does, only if they spell your name wrong, then that's harmful.
Yes, that's not a good thing.
Yeah. Well, folks, this afternoon we've been talking to Lynne Carter, a lady that I just asked the question of, was she most proud of her work with the Stage Door Canteen? And I think she's very proud of that. Maybe not the most proud, but she had a very active life in stage and in movies and summer stock and all of those good things that are actors and actresses try very hard to stay within those bounds as they get older. So as I say, you've been very successful in your career over a long period of
Yes,
time.
I have.
And that's wonderful, and you have John here to help you and guide you, which is a very nice point.
Yes, I have a nice point there.
Yeah. So I want to thank you, Lynne Carter, for this interview and for the time you've spent with us, and wish you success in the future. Who knows, maybe Hollywood will come up with another starring part for you, and you'll come out of retirement and do it.
Yes, I might.
Good. Thank you much, Miss Carter.
You are very welcome.